An Alcohol Making Guide. Chapter 1. Make Booze. Brew beer/make beer. In a nutshell, put a handful of hops in a pot of water and boil it up for 2 to 3 hours. Mix a little bit of malt with it. Pour in half a pint of molasses while it's boiling. You could add a cut up potato to it for added flavor. Strain the beer, then when it's lukewarm, put a pint of lively yeast to it in a keg or a barrel. Leave the lid loose while the beer is working. When the frothing stops, either close the lid or bottle the beer. Your local health food store is where you can buy your ingredients. Use a 15-gallon plastic garbage can with clip-on lid. Approximately 6 ounces hops. 3 pounds extract of malt. 9 pounds granulated sugar. 1 tablespoon molasses. 1–1/2 teaspoons granulated yeast. Place in vessel with approximately 2 gallons water, or more if vessel is large enough, and bring to boil. Then turn down to simmer for about 45 minutes, steeping hops into liquid during this period, as hops will sit on top of the water, otherwise flavor will be too weak. Put malt, raw sugar, and molasses into plastic bin. Strain the hops liquid through parachute silk or cheesecloth to remove all sediment and add liquid to contents of bin. Stir thoroughly with wooden paddle to completely dissolve malt and sugar into liquid. Place the bin in a position where it can be kept for a week undisturbed at 70 F. Fill up with lukewarm water to within 2 inches of top of container. Temperature of brew should be about 70 to 80 F. Sprinkle yeast evenly over surface and seal. Beer will work for 7 to 10 days. A thick white broth will appear after the first 8 hours and gradually die towards the end of the time. When working has ceased, take 8 dozen clean 26 ounces bottles and put 1 level teaspoon of white sugar into each bottle. Drain off liquid into bottles, taking care not to disturb too much. This will disturb sediment and make liquid cloudy. Cap bottles tightly and correctly and store upright for 3 weeks minimum. Cool in refrigerator in upright position and pour gently into glass mug for serving. Sediment also forms in bought leaf beer is too lively. Too much yeast has been added, or if bottled before it had ceased working. Flavor of beer can be softened by adding 4 ounces of barley to the hops when bottling. Color can be darkened by increasing amount of molasses. Books about beer, wine, and booze are around number 641.230 or TP 573 at the library. AmberW.com, American Brewer Magazine. BeerExpedition.com. BeerInfo.com. Realbar.com, Beer Brewing. TeeHeeBrewingNetwork.com. LeftHandBrewing.com. BeerMachine.com. BeerTown.org, Beertown, Association of Brewers. Brewery.org. BrewingTechniques.com, Brewing Techniques Magazine. BYO.com, Brew Your Own Magazine. HBD.org, Homebrew Digest. HomebrewHeaven.com, Homebrew Heaven. Realbar.com. Realbar.com/hops. Beersmith.com. Stanford.edu/JeremyBB/beerstuff/beerpage.html, Jeremy's beer page. Storybeer.com, Story Beer. TCEL.com/go brew. TheBrewHut.com, The Brew Hut. Make your own booze. Books about beer, wine, and booze are around number 641.230 or TP 573 at the library. HomeDistiller.org. Grain or ethyl alcohol, C2H5O, in its purest form, goes to the liver where it's cleanly broken down into blood sugars and gives a euphoric feeling without much extra toxins in there. Commercial alcohol, on the other hand, is filled with toxins, and that's what gives people headaches and hangovers. 2 other types of alcohol, methyl alcohol and propyl alcohol, and many others are used for industrial use and are undrinkable. The only drinkable kind is ethyl alcohol. The simplest way to make booze is to add yeast to water and some form of sugar like grapes or anything with starches in it like potatoes and grain. The yeast will react with the sugars and starches, and if the conditions are right, it will convert the sugars into alcohol. Carbon dioxide is a byproduct of this process. CO2 acts as a buffer between the fermenting booze and the air, hence, you must keep the lids tightly closed. If air and oxygen get at the yeast/sugar mixture, it will kill the yeast and stop the process. The process will continue until either the yeast or the sugars are used up, after which all the unused stuff will settle to the bottom to be filtered out. Disregard what it says on your yeast package. The temperature of the water for making booze must be between 70 and 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Get an ordinary 5-gallon plastic bucket. Warm up your water and add a bunch of sugar/sugary starch to it, grapes, potatoes, grain, etc., as much as desired, mixing it up. Any cooking yeast like Fleischmann's will do. You can buy it in pint containers at baking or wholesale stores. Put the water mixture in a large barrel only 10 inches high because it will foam up when the yeast is added. Add about 1 part yeast to every 400 parts water. Calgon is a cleaning detergent which has things in it that help the yeast ferment. Don't worry about it, just add about 3/4 cup to every barrel, 26 gallons, of mash. Put lids on your barrels and wait for the foaming to settle down. Once it has settled down, you must very gently add warm water to fill up the barrel, being careful not to shock and kill the yeast. Cap the lids tightly and leave them for about 12 days. Keep them in a warm room above 70 degrees. Don't peak until 12 days because the air will kill the yeast. From this mash, expect a 9% return in straight booze. The concept is simple. You have to set up some kind of still, that is, a large pot or pressure cooker with a tight lid and some copper tubing at the top which comes through the lid down to the mixture which leads to another pot. You have to either buy a big pressure cooker or have one made by a welder with a screw-on type top. There are 3 holes in the lid, one with a rubber gasket in it to put a thermometer to monitor the temperature of your mash, another is just a screw-type fitting which acts a safety drain-off valve that you can pull off in case the mixture gets too hot, and in the other hole, you shove in at least an 8-foot-long piece of 1/2 to 1 inch copper tubing right to the bottom of the pot and connect this to another large pot 8 feet away. The whole idea is that alcohol has a boiling point lower than that of water so that it vaporizes, goes up through the copper tubing as steam and is cooled by either water or air and returns to liquid form as pure alcohol. All you're doing is separating water from alcohol, there's no chemical reaction. Just set your pot on a hot plate or a stove and start cooking. It's just like making cheese, you have to be gentle with it and make it an even heat so that an excessive pressure doesn't build up. The secret is to clean all your cooking apparatus thoroughly before using it. Use vinegar, salt, and water, then rinse thoroughly. Never, ever use soap because it stays in the aluminum and ruins the taste of your booze. It takes a lot of time to cook the mash down into pure booze. The maximum cooking temperature is about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Leave space at the top of your pot because the mash will froth up as it cooks. For every batch, you should do the cooking process 4 times to separate as much water as you can from the booze. Each run takes less and less time. Respect the pressure there, be careful. Clean the pot after every run. For each successive run, you lower the cooking temperature by 4 degrees. You'll know it's done when the booze is clear, colorless, and tastes like pure booze with no other taste like yeast or sugar. When you're ready, put the booze into clean jugs, preferably glass. The first cup or so of the 4th run contains impurities. Use it to clean chrome, computers, or to start your barbecue. Don't drink it. If all goes well, you'll have pure 190 proof, 95% alcohol. You can drink the alcohol pure or you can flavor it with different things. To make bourbon, simply add charred oak chips to the mixture. Let them soak in the booze until it darkens and takes on the distinct flavor, then filter it. You then add an equal amount of water to cut the percentage/proof in half. You can make gin by adding gin essence, Southern Comfort by adding sugar and orange, Tia Maria by adding coffee beans. In essence, you can make virtually anything you want. Make liqueurs. Basic equipment: 1 1-quart saucepan, 2 measuring cup, 3 measuring spoons, 4 1-quart bottle, 32 ounces, or a fifth, 25.4 ounces, empty and clean. Basic ingredients: 1 spirits, vodka, gin, brandy, scotch, or grain alcohol. 2 white granulated sugar. 3 water. 4 fruit extracts. Various brands of extracts are available at home winemaking stores. 5 glycerin. Adds body and smoothness. 1 Make your sweet or medium syrup in the following way. Sweet syrup, 2 cups sugar to 1 cup water. Medium syrup, 1 cup sugar to 1/2 cup water. Combine the sugar and water in the saucepan and bring it just to a boil. Cool for a few minutes. 2 Pour the required amount of syrup into your clean bottle. 3 Add the extract. 4 Add glycerin and coloring if required. 5 Fill the bottle to the top with the spirits. A liqueur made in a quart bottle will have a stronger alcoholic taste than one made in a 5th bottle. 6 Close the bottle and shake. Cool before drinking. Cherry brandy. 1 bottle cherry brandy extract. 1 cup medium sugar syrup. Brandy. Apricot brandy. 1 bottle apricot brandy extract. Brandy. No sugar syrup. Crème de coco. 1 bottle cocoa extract. 2 cups sweet sugar syrup. Vodka or grain alcohol. Crème de menthe. 1 bottle green mint extract. 2 cups sweet sugar syrup. Vodka or grain alcohol. Make coffee liqueur. Ingredients: 3 cups granulated sugar. 3/4 cup instant coffee. 1 vanilla bean, available at most health food stores if not at your local supermarket's spice section. 1 quart 100 proof vodka. 1 quart saucepan. 2 measuring cup, measuring spoons. 3 1 quart bottle, 32 ounces, or a fifth, 25.4 ounces, empty and clean. Basic ingredients: 1 spirits, vodka, gin, brandy, scotch, or grain alcohol. 2 white granulated sugar. 3 water. 4 fruit extracts. Various brands of extracts are available at home winemaking stores. 5 glycerin. Adds body and smoothness. 1 Make your sweet or medium syrup in the following way. Sweet syrup, 2 cups sugar to 1 cup water. Medium syrup, 1 cup sugar to 1/2 cup water. Combine the sugar and water in the saucepan and bring it just to a boil. Cool for a few minutes. 2 Pour the required amount of syrup into your clean bottle. 3 Add the extract. 4 Add glycerin and coloring if required. 5 Fill the bottle to the top with the spirits. A liqueur made in a quart bottle will have a stronger alcoholic taste than one made in a 5th bottle. 6 Close the bottle and shake. Cool before drinking. Make home brew. The necessary ingredients are usually available from most markets and the bottle capper and caps may be found at most hardware stores. You will also need a crock, about 10 gallons, and a hydrometer of the type designed for brewing. The purpose of the hydrometer is to determine when the sugar content of the mix is less than 1%. It will float on top of the mix for about 3 or 4 days, and when it sinks you are ready to bottle the brew. You will need a collection of empty bottles, the quart size is best. Be sure they are clean. Ingredients: malt 2 cups, sugar 5 cups, yeast 1 tablespoon, water 3 gallons. For a darker color add more malt. For stronger flavor add more sugar and a small amount of brewer hops. Use 3 cups of superfine sugar and 3 cups of brown sugar. This gives about 18% by volume, 36 proof. Heat about 2 quarts of water and dissolve the malt syrup. Add the sugar to the mix slowly and stir until dissolved. Let the mix boil for several minutes, then pour into crock and add the balance of water. If you use hops, wrap them in a cheesecloth and hang it in the mix. Wait about 3 hours and skim off foam. Place the hydrometer in the mix and from this point on keep your eye on it. It will sink in about 3 days or so and you are ready to bottle. The best way to bottle is a small siphon hose. Try not to disturb the mix. Slowly place the hose about 1 inch from the bottom and start the siphon action. As each bottle is filled about 1 inch from the top, Pinch the hose to stop the flow and then release and fill the next bottles and let them age, at least 10 days and 30 days is better. The very best flavor comes after about 3 months. Make moonshine. 2 to 12 ounces cans frozen grape juice. 3½ cups of white granulated sugar. 1/3 cake of yeast, Fleischmann's is best. A large balloon. Some strong string. 1 gallon jug. First, set the grape juice out to thaw, until slushy. Next, mix the sugar thoroughly in with the grape juice. Pour the sugar and juice into the gallon jug. Dissolve the yeast in a cup of lukewarm water and add to the juice mixture in the gallon jug. If water is too warm, it will kill the active ingredient in the yeast that causes fermentation. Mix everything thoroughly. Now add just enough lukewarm water to fill the gallon jug up to about 2 inches below the neck. When this is done, place the balloon over the top of neck and secure tightly with string. This must be an airtight fit. If you have followed all directions carefully, the balloon will soon start to expand with the gas caused by the fermentation. Store the mixture in a cool but not cold area. 60 to 75 degrees is ideal for a period of from 3 to 6 weeks. Check the balloon every other day. If the balloon expands too large, untie and allow the gas to escape and then retie, but be sure to retie tightly to make it airtight again. When the balloon ceases to expand, the wine is done. Do not bottle the wine before it is done. Working wine, fermenting, can explode a bottle from the gas pressure of fermentation. Strain your wine with a cheesecloth or a tea towel and pour into a bottle using a snap-on type of cap or use a cork. Store bottles on their sides in a cool, dark place.